Good morning. This is the regularly scheduled meeting, Board of Fire Commissioners. Date is January 15th, 2019, and it's about 9:08 in the morning. Thank you. Flag salute.
Stand, right hand over your heart. Let us begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in a moment of silence in honor of past and present members of the Los Angeles Fire Department who have devoted their lives to the protection of our community. Thank you.
So we start, as always, with Commissioner comments.
Well, it's Happy New Year because this is our first time meeting. And hope that everyone had a great holidays and that everyone was safe. I did it. We had a graduation, I think, since our last meeting.
Yes, we did.
And I did attend the graduation and the family orientation, which I was impressed with the quality and the kind of new people that we recruited for that particular training class. And I look forward to visiting their classes at some time before the 20 weeks pass. They go so fast. I also want to thank UFLAC and any other city unions who are supporting the UTLA strike. As you see, I'm wearing my Red for Ed today. And thank you, President Ibarra. She has on her red, which we call Red for Ed, because without the support of the whole city, I don't think that we'll be as successful as we are. But we've had tremendous support for this strike throughout the whole city from the parents. I was on the strike line yesterday morning in the rain, but it was invigorating. It just gives you that energy to keep moving along. And so I do want to thank the supporters who supported us, and especially UFLAC, I know who's here today. And I adopted a school, 24th Street School, which is a school I retired from. And Fire Station 26 has been very cooperative. They will let us use their bathrooms. And, of course, when I said to the teachers, you can go to the fire station, they said, ooh, the fire station. So thank you very much for all the support we're getting.
So I also attended the graduation event, and it was interesting. It was like one of the graduates won most of the honors.
Yeah, that's right.
So outside of that, it was a great event as usual, and we're still drawing in female graduates, and I know that makes Rebecca happy, and
everybody. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Welcome back. Yes, thank you, UFLAC. I concur. Did not wear the red, but in my heart, I'm here with the red. And thank you so much for supporting the teachers. It's imperative that we all stand together, united. And I went to the graduation. It was fantastic to see all the graduates, 5 females. I think it ties the other one. I also went to the orientation with Commissioner Ibarra and Commissioner Woods-Gray, and there are 15 females in the next class, which is, I think
it's the highest.
May be unprecedented, although in recent history, I think. In the 90s, there was a class that had more. But it's great, and I want to thank all of our partners for working hard to make our department equitable for everybody. And thank you all so much, and I look forward to 2019 with all of you.
Thank you. So that's Commissioner comments. Now, report of Fire Chief.
Thank you, Madam President, and good morning, everybody. On December 19th, I participated in the development of a video for the Shake LA phone app. The mayor unveiled that, I think it was the 2nd or 3rd of January, and it's truly, I think, a significant milestone to have a city-sponsored phone app that gives you a few seconds warning of a approaching earthquake. For us, the fire department, it would allow us to get our firefighters out of quarters on our fire engines. I was working the day of the Northridge earthquake many years ago, in 1994, right? I think. And the doors wouldn't open. They were actually jammed shut at 94s. And think about all the other things: elevators, trains, surgeries, all these things that are going to be safer because the phone app. On December 20th, we did have a recruit graduation, Drill Tower 81. We graduated 51 firefighters, and it was with 5 female graduates. It's the third time that we've graduated 5 females. So we're looking forward to hopefully breaking that record this go around. On December 27th, we had family orientation, and I believe we ended up with about a little over 70 recruits in this drill tower. That's in progress right now. January 3rd, I gave an interesting interview to Time Magazine. They wanted to know about our Wi-Fi technology and how we can project the path of a brush fire. So we're looking forward to having that come out. I think the reporter said at the end of January. So we'll see what that looks like. And that concludes my report.
Thank you. So moving on to verbal report by the department on significant incidents from December 18th to January 14th.
Good morning, Madam President, Commissioners, Chief Terrazas, City Attorney, and Isela. My name is Philip Flegel. I'm the Deputy Chief in charge of Operations Central Bureau. I'd like to share with you an incident that occurred on January 4th of this year at approximately 6:14 in the afternoon. It was a significant natural gas leak in Fire Station 11's first end. On that evening, Los Angeles Fire Department responded to a report of explosion at 1931 West 7th Street in Fire Station 11's first end, located in the Westlake area of the city. Prior to leaving quarters, responding resources heard a loud blast. In exactly 1 minute and 15 seconds, first arriving LAFD resources arrived on scene to find an apparent subterranean explosion with 10-foot flame lengths and smoke coming from the sidewalk expansion joints. Heavy smell of natural gas was also present in the area. Initial LAFD firefighters came to the direct aid of those attempting to flee the 2 40-unit apartment houses where the sidewalks were actually having this smoke and fire. Immediately, LAFD resources evacuated 140 civilians from the potential danger. Arriving on scene, 1st Battalion Chief rapidly developed situational awareness and implemented an incident command system organization to mitigate the problem. While working to stabilize a natural gas leak and working with Southern California Gas Company to determine the cause of the problem, the incident commander established an evacuation group to assist the needs of civilians that were displaced from their residences. Working with the Emergency Management Department, Department of Recreation and Parks, American Red Cross, the Metropolitan Transit Authority, and the incident commander safely transported and sheltered the 140 victims at Lafayette Park Recreation Center for the duration of the evening. For the rest of the evening and into the next morning, the displaced victims were cared for and attended by the American Red Cross and with the assistance of Los Angeles Fire Department. At 2:30 a.m. the next morning, the leak was patched and the atmospheric levels of the gas fell below safe levels, and all displaced civilians were allowed to return back to their homes that morning. There were no injuries and no structural property damage to this incident, and at its height, 46 firefighters and paramedics were assigned to the incident. The specific cause and the nature of the gas leak is still under investigation by the Southern California Gas Company. And I just wanted to stress the importance of the successful relationships that we've forged with all the Geographic Bureau commanders and the departments throughout the city and the other agencies that helped us out with this incident. It was a very cool night, and we were able to respond and get people out of cold and into a safe place for within 2 hours of the actual incident being occurring. So it was a very good outcome that we had this incident. So were there any questions for me at all? Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good morning, Commissioners. Chief Terrazas, Council, Deputy Chief Trevor Richmond, Operations Valley Bureau. On January 4th at approximately 10:50 p.m., the Los Angeles Fire Department Valley Bureau resources were dispatched to a reported structure fire. First arriving units on scene found a one-story single-family dwelling with a well-established attic fire. Unfortunately, after doing interior aggressive fire attack, they did find someone that was down and determined to be deceased. This was our first fire fatality for 2019. On a brighter note, however, we contacted MySafe LA, and MySafe LA came out the next day and found a very target-rich environment with regard to smoke detectors in that specific neighborhood. They were able to install 87 smoke detectors, 18 carbon monoxide detectors, and actually impacted 115 people with fire safety education. So all in all, it was a really good canvassing event following this tragic incident. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And report by the medical director for the same time period.
Good morning, everyone. Dr. Mark Eckstein, Medical Director.
Good morning.
Significant medical incidents since our last meeting. On January the 4th, in 11's First In, Engine 11 arrived first on scene, found a 47-year-old male who actually collapsed while playing with his children. And this was a really good example of the robust chain of survival we've developed in Los Angeles. The incident was dispatched extremely quickly by our call takers at MFC. The call taker appropriately recognized that the patient was in need of bystander CPR and provided chest compression-only CPR instructions. Engine 11 supported the patient's vital signs with CPR and assisted respirations, followed by Rescue 11 provided advanced cardiac life support. They were successful in achieving return of spontaneous circulation, identified the patient as having a STEMI or acute heart attack, and the patient was transported to the nearest STEMI center to undergo immediate emergency revascularization. So the save of a young father playing with his children. On January 11th of this year, in 103's First In, a 34-year-old female went down with a reported seizure. And what we found with our work in creating the tier dispatch system and evaluating thousands of incidents within our city over the past several years, we've actually found that approximately 7% of patients who come in, have a 911 call with a reported seizure, are actually in cardiac arrest, and it's actually the cardiac arrest that's most amenable to CPR and use of a defibrillator. We've really emphasized this training, creating the tier dispatch system and training our dispatcher call takers. Dispatcher did an outstanding job. Even though this young woman had a history of seizures, he recognized she was not breathing adequately, instructed the caller to perform CPR, which was done. Engine 103, followed by Rescue 93, provided basic and advanced life support, were able to achieve pulses and save the life of this 34-year-old woman. So outstanding job, outstanding save there. The last incident I wanted to share with you is another example of the tremendous impact of our cycle teams at the airport. As you know, we implemented a pilot program and placing cycle teams 7 days a week, 20 hours per day, covering the main terminals of LAX. On January 7th, a gentleman was reported down near Terminal 5. The cycle teams were on scene within approximately 2 minutes. The cycle teams at the airport are averaging about a 2.5-minute response time, which is truly remarkable if anyone who's familiar with the traffic congestion around the horseshoe there. So they got on scene in approximately 2 minutes. They provided both basic and advanced life support, followed up by Engine and Rescue 51. And after very vigorous continued resuscitative efforts, they were able to achieve return of spontaneous circulation. Also identified that this 54-year-old gentleman was suffering from a heart attack, transported him to UCLA as a STEMI receiving center, and is expected to make a recovery. So yet another save with the implementation of our expert paramedic bicycle teams at the airport, and we're certainly hopeful and optimistic this program will continue. And that concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Thank you.
Moving on to presentations.
Good morning, Commissioners, Fire Chief Terrazas, City Attorney Ms. Iniguez, Eric Scott, Fire Captain, Paramedic, and Public Information Officer. Today we are recognizing firefighter Paul Wingate for his exceptional performance and really for his safe leadership and guidance of the LAFD Crew 3 program since 2014. and he has mentored numerous future firefighters and assisted our neighboring fire departments to operate safely during our wildland operations. So we'd like to ask him to stand here. There he is. Perfect. We'd like to give a little background about Paul. He has a deep history in our wildland firefighting. So he's joined the U.S. Forest Service apprenticeship back in '93. He soon thereafter became a hotshot. He worked for the Padres National Forest and then finally the Angeles National Forest, all before he came on with the LAFD in the year 2000. And he's done an abundance for mentoring. He was a cadet post advisor, and naturally, due to all of that wildland experience that we just explained, his roots had led him to become an instructor for Crew 3. Now, Crew 3 are these proud men and women sitting behind here. They're a volunteer Type 2 hand crew that's managed by our department, not paid members. But then in 2014, Paul accepted the role of Crew 3's foreman. So that allowed him then to really be in a lead role to train in wildland and also the operations. So as the foreman of Crew 3, he's been to over 50 wildland fires throughout the area, including a couple of the largest in our area, like the Latuna and Creek fires. But I think really the best part is that he has trained over 250 young men and women. And each year that crew averages a roster of about 40 members. So you can imagine the countless hours and additional training that's required for these members. And then it's a little bittersweet too, because fortunately he trains them up to where they get to go on to a full-time paid program, but then he'll lose about 25 members each year to outside agencies. And therefore you have to start from scratch and build back up. But in summary, Paul is a dedicated and passionate member of our department. He truly loves what he does. And his biggest joy comes from when his folks get hired by other fire departments as full-time employees. And we're proud to say that 12 of those members from Crew 3 have been hired by our department, and countless others have been hired by various other fire departments. So we'd like to read the certificate briefly here. In recognition and sincere gratitude for your exceptional performance as a member of the Los Angeles Fire Department's Disaster Response Section, providing safe leadership and guidance for LAFD Crew 3 programs since 2014, mentoring numerous future firefighters and assisting sworn members of the LAFD and neighboring fire departments operate safely during wildland fires. These accomplishments, combined with all your other significant achievements, have placed the LAFD in a leadership position throughout the country and has made it possible for the department to better serve the citizens of Los Angeles. The Los Angeles Fire Department commends you for your commitment and extraordinary service to the citizens of Los Angeles. Presented this 15th day of January 2019, Ralph M. Terrazas, Fire Chief.
What can I say about Paul? As I think about all the people in our department and how they all have very similar passion, but some have unique passion, like Mike Marquez with our annual Sparkle of Toy program, like Dr. Eckstein with all these innovative EMS pilot programs. And I think about Paul Wingate and his passion for Crew 3 and working with our young people. One of our statements in our vision statement is to have a department that's reflective of our community. And the best way to do that is to cultivate our young people so that they're ready and they can compete with all the other thousands of applicants when they get hired by our department and other departments. We've hired approximately 12 of these Crew 3 members to become members of the Los Angeles Fire Department. And I was just told before we started this meeting that we have 360 applicants this year to be part of Crew 3. So Paul has taken his passion to help young people and cultivated future firefighters. And whenever I see an applicant that has a Crew 3 in the resume, it's our standard protocol. for the captain in recruitment to call Firefighter Wingate and to get his endorsement for that applicant. And Paul has always given us exemplary endorsements, or he wouldn't even take them into the program. And we have a 100% success rate of a Crew 3 firefighter going into our drill tower. So Paul, we're very, very proud of you. Keep up the good work. I hope to hire all of them for the Los Angeles Fire Department. I don't want those other departments taking the fruits of our hard effort. So all of you, I hope someday to offer you a job with the Los Angeles Fire Department. Congratulations, Paul.
Good morning, Commissioners,
Good
Fire
morning.
Chief. I'm not normally the guy that stands up here and takes praises, but I'd like to say thank you very much. It's an honor, but none of this would be possible without the hard work of the young men and women in the back of the room. They're the ones who bring me in to work every day. It's a challenge for me to supervise new people season after season, but I learn so much from them. They say they learn from me, but I learn every year, every day working with them. And like I said, none of this would be possible without their dedication to the department and to the crew. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Okay. So I need somebody to move the consent agenda items.
Where is it, Dr.? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Great. So we have only one item on the regular agenda, and it's the verbal report by the department on emergency medical services mental health responder training.
Good morning,
Good
President
morning.
Ibarra, Commissioners, Chief Terrazas. I'm Dr. Audrey Martinez.
Good morning, President Ibarra, Fire Commissioners, and Chief Terrazas. My name is Dr. Crystal Madrid. I'm a fire psychologist. At the request of Commissioner Glazer, we looked into the Long Beach Mental Health First Aid course to see how we could adapt it and utilize it for our membership. I was able to audit the course on September 14th. The course is an 8-hour national recognized course on recognizing the mental health symptoms, signs and symptoms, as well as substance abuse symptoms geared towards fire and EMS personnel. With the coordination with the independent contractor, we were actually able to provide this course to our membership on November 26th and November 27th. Some positives of the course were overwhelmingly the members who took the course stated that recognizing the signs and symptoms was a great step and an action plan on how to start speaking to someone who they recognize in their crew as a positive of the course. They also identified the course as helping to reduce the stigma that they may have had regarding mental health illnesses. The weaknesses of the course, some of the weaknesses were they wanted more in-depth information because they felt that it was too general. They wanted more practical hands-on exercises so they could practice it in the course. They wanted more driving discussion, data-driven discussion on PTSD within the fire personnel. And overall, they wanted information on what to do is if in the class they themselves recognize signs and symptoms of a mental illness within themselves. So what to do from there. So we took this information and we are developing our own program and seeing how best we could utilize what we learned from this course on how best to serve our membership. And Dr. Martinez will talk more about that.
So we would like to, we're developing a mental health program specifically to provide a baseline of information to the fire service with statistics geared specifically to firefighters in terms of prevalence rates of disorders like post-traumatic stress disorder, substance abuse, anxiety disorder, major depressive disorder, as well as providing educational tools in terms of both recognizing signs and symptoms of these disorders and how to broach these conversations with fellow peers. We also want to emphasize specific skills in terms of how to manage certain stressors and provide types and resources to the membership in terms of who to seek out for further treatment if they do recognize symptoms of these various disorders either within themselves or amongst their peers. I think that concludes my report.
Okay, thanks. So it's the I had assumed that it was about recognizing mental health in consumers, but it's actually in the actual first responders, right?
The course that Commissioner Glazer proposed was actually to help recognize signs and symptoms of mental health disorders within the first responders.
Oh, interesting.
So we do plan on focusing first on providing information on recognizing those various signs and symptoms of mental health disorders to first responders. And we do recognize that first responders would like to have more information on responding to the general public. However, within that type of setting, we found that the amount of information was overwhelming for the firefighters, which is some of the feedback that we received. Mm-hmm. So we have decided to separate out the curriculum and focus first on providing a baseline of knowledge to the firefighters with plans in the future of providing trainings on how to work with the general public in terms of working with various disorders. There are special considerations to take. In terms of firefighters, certain disorders like working with psychosis may not be as relevant to peers, mm-hmm. but within the community, that may be something that is more of a focus. So again, separating out and giving skills on working with the diagnoses that may be applicable within the fire service, and then focusing on disorders that may be more applicable to the community in general.
And what kind of resources do they have, once they identify that they or one of their peers is suffering from one of these disorders? What kind of resources do we offer them?
Within LAFD, we are the 2 department psychologists, so we offer individual therapy, group therapy, family therapy, couple therapy. We also have a collaborative relationship with UFLAC, and so we have access to their counselor who provides similar services, and they have a drug counselor as well. We also can refer memberships to other providers within the community that we've vetted.
We also have the peer support team that's out of UFLAG, so we work really well as a team and a partnership, so we're able to really target the needs of whatever member is seeking those services.
And their health insurance covers that too, I assume?
So with regards to the services that we all provide, UFLAG as well as us too, it's at no cost to the members and their family. And with regards to us referring out to individuals in the community, we do make sure that we find clinicians that are served under their insurance.
Okay.
And what are the plans for delivery of, which I think this is all excellent, and needed and important, like your plans for delivering this to the entire department?
So first we plan to pilot the program within the drill tower, again, providing pre and post measures to help fine-tune and tailor the curriculum. And then we have plans to offer the curriculum to the general fire service.
And that's something we'll have to do with regards to training and see how best we can utilize this and roll it out for the entire membership.
Okay, excellent. And then training with UFLAG's peer support, you're working with them?
Yes,
as well?
we're going to be utilizing them as well. Ideally, what we think about the program long-term wise is training the peer support members and having them deliver it as well.
Okay.
And that's something that we didn't do in coordination with them.
Excellent, excellent. And you said you went November 26th and 27th. You said LAFD, but was it Long Beach, right?
No. So I audited Long Beach course,
Right.
which is on September. And
Okay.
yeah, it's a national course, and we were able to actually partner with an independent contractor who was also doing that course. So we were able to offer it to our membership in November.
Which is how we were able to get information, feedback based on the curriculum, where fire members were stating that the information was too broad, the information was presented in too big of a chunk, and it was overwhelming. So again, taking the pilot program and fine-tuning it for the service.
And how long was the course?
It's 8 hours.
Okay.
And it's very rigid structure with pre-planned breaks, so they can't read the room and adjust it accordingly. So that's the other issue with regards to utilizing that particular program.
Right.
And again, within that particular program, statistics given were based off of the general population, and again, not specific to fire service. And while there is limited data on prevalence rates of the various disorders within the fire service, there are still some pieces of information that we can incorporate into the training.
Okay, excellent.
What is your anticipated timeline for the rollout?
So we're going to start initially with a probationary firefighter starting in March. We view this as a year-long program in development. It's obviously going to be tailored based on what the evaluations tell us and in coordination with the various individual members. So right now we can't give a hard set rule other than we're definitely going to start in March rolling out the individual pilot piece.
I would think that like the major depressive disorder in terms of suicide prevention, and then PTSD obviously would be another area that maybe you could focus on initially,
Right.
So that you might have more of an impact right off the bat.
We have plans to develop the PTSD curriculum, suicide prevention curriculum, major depressive disorder, and substance abuse within this program.
Especially with anxiety and stress management, to give them practical hands-on exercises and things to utilize in the moment, so they walk away with a set of tools to utilize.
I feel like this is, kind of the beginning of a new chapter for fire service because, historically it's not an issue that's been talked about a lot. So I think it's okay to sort of try new things and sort of, put a lot of resources into sort of figuring it out and try what works.
Right.
Because it's kind of uncharted territory in some ways.
I'd just like to thank you for the work that you're doing, and it seems very comprehensive, and you've put a lot of thought into it. We realize that there's a desperate need for this service in our department. One of my concerns is, how do people report to you if they figure out someone may need special assistance? What's the routine for that?
So our information is readily available on the department portal, but we are also going out on ride-alongs, passing out pamphlets, any opportunity we have to educate the public that we are available 24/7 via our department cell phones, and including Dr. Steve Froelich from UFLAG.
Additionally, the peer support members are going out to all the fire stations as well, discussing mental health. There's a flyer placed in every fire station, readily showing all the peer support members' names, numbers, contact information, as well as Dr. Steve Froelich and ourselves, so that they could access us.
So on the sidelines, we are working on just a campaign of educating the membership as to what mental health is and how to access us. So UFLAG has been great in partnering with us and giving us a platform to help educate the members in contacting us what mental health is, because we find that the baseline of knowledge right now is pretty low, and members are not even sure what the therapeutic process entails. So educating membership on what evidence-based treatments are, how to use us as resources, and how to best use the peer support members.
Oh, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
When is the when is the next report? Is this every 6 months?
Every 6 months sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, that'd be great. Thank
I'd
you.
like to add a couple of things. This has been a long effort. We started almost 4 years ago. Think about the magnitude of the problem. Across the country, we had more firefighter suicides than we did line-of-duty deaths last year. I've had 4 or 5 in our department. LA County has had 7 or 8 firefighter suicides in the last 4 to 5 years. We let our membership know that the doctors are available, both our in-house professionals as well as Dr. Froelich, through a variety of means. Number one, the daily email, the state of the department. The contact information is there for all 3 mental health professionals. Our last chief officer's presentation, we had an extended period of time where we dedicated to highlighting the issue of firefighter suicide and PTSD and gave contact information there. We put out regular communications and messages from me. We have to spotlight the issue. The way we used to deal with it was pretty much at the kitchen table, everybody okay? Okay, let's go back to work. And we would ask the question, but there really wasn't that professional follow-up, so we're getting better at that. And we also have money that we utilize from CalJack, and that's a partnership between UFLAC and the department. We've already processed the request, and we have a professional waiting to shoot a video. And we want to highlight our 3 mental health professionals, myself, President Escobar, highlight the issue, let them know about all the various ways they can get help. And as I heard the presentation today, I think we should give a preview of the upcoming curriculum that we're talking about that's in development. So this video I'm talking about, I'd like to get that going within the next 30 days. And it'll take about 30 days to finish it. And we'll put it on Target Solutions so that it goes out to all fire station and headquarter locations so that everybody has access to it. So thank you to the 2 doctors. Thank you to the partners for the partnership at UFLAC, and thank you to the commission for supporting this effort for the last 4.5 years.
Could we have a summary of the curriculum before it's used in March?
Sure, we can provide that.
A written summary?
Written summary.
And actually, the next report I would like to request written as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that actually concludes. We don't need to vote on this, so we have no public comments, so we can adjourn. Yes.
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.